we're trying to do is tell the story of people involved with the army that you don't normally hear about. So we're looking at civilians and non-combatants that have contributed to the army in a huge amount of ways. So we look at camp followers and people that followed the army throughout the centuries, cooked food, did the washing, did the repairs of uniform. We look at some of the corps in the army whose central aim isn't fighting. So we look a bit at the medical corps, the nursing corps, the chaplains department and a few other organisations. We also look at some of the charities. So we've got the Red Cross, the YMCA, and also the Home Front. So there's a lot going on, there's a lot of stories to tell. So the roles that they undertook, the army couldn't function without a number of them. So say even basic camp followers, they were responsible for cooking and providing food, looking after baggage, selling vital supplies to the army, and providing nursing care in a number of circumstances. The official corps in the army, for example, like the Royal Army Medical Corps, obviously the army wouldn't be functioning without them, and the same with a lot of support from the Home Front and from the charities. So for example, during the First World War, the Red Cross was responsible for setting up a number of the hospitals that were used by the army, so incredibly important really. So there's a number of York-based stories we've got here. So we talk about the Home Front, so we talk about the Baedeker raids that happened in York, which is quite a lesser known kind of almost element of the Blitz, where York city centre and the railway station was bombed, which caused a number of casualties. So we do have a number of really personal stories from here. We also have a story of Betty Stevenson, who is a young woman who was from York, who volunteered as a YMCA driver around the hospitals in France and was actually killed while she was doing that, while she was trying to save some French refugees from an air raid. So there are a lot of really personal stories from York in this exhibition that we're really enjoying sharing. It's very important for a number of reasons. I mean, first of all, it's to allow people to understand their history and the history of Britain and its army. So to have that really realistic kind of picture in your head of what the army is, what it does and how it functions. But more than that, it's important to remember them for their own sake. These people aren't always the focus of exhibitions and thought when we think about the First World War or the Second World War or anywhere where the army's been. But it's so important just to remember what they did and also how we can contribute and how we interact with the army as well. You see a lot of that in this exhibition.